everybody. Welcome to the first podcast, The Path to Progress. We are excited to have you, and we hope that you will join us in future episodes. We'd just like to start with introducing ourselves. My name is Colleen. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Zrpath. I've been with the company about 10 years, serving in different roles, but right now I oversee general operations from different roles such as referrals, scheduling, reception, HR, all sorts of different hats that I wear. The company is amazing, and I hope that you will enjoy our first show. And I'm going to give it to Erin to introduce herself.
I'm Erin. I'm the clinical director at Zrpath. I oversee a lot of the clinical aspects of the different programs, and I've been with the company for coming up on 10 years.
And with that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Moshe Lobel. I'm the CEO of the company. I'm here for a short period of time of 6 months. But in the last 6 months, the company has seen a lot of growth, and we're continuing to doing so. And one of the new interesting developments of the company is our new director in training and development, and I'll give over to her.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy. I have been with the company for about 4 years, and now I am a director for training and development. It is a fairly new department, but let me tell you that it's growing and is doing amazing things for new and current employees as well.
Perfect. So today our general purpose is just to describe a little bit about what behavioral health is for people that are not aware. Everybody obviously has their own definition of it. I'll start with mine, and if anyone else wants to chime in. I would define behavioral health as kind of an all-encompassing category of services and that serve youth, children, families, adults. The field used to be very primarily mental health, just focusing on feelings and emotions, but they did not add that physical aspect of how your feelings and emotions relate to your surrounding environment and how you behave according to your feelings and emotions. And so that's, to me, what I would describe behavioral health as. It can include obviously depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, but with children, primarily a lot of the kiddos experience a lot of adjustment disorders, and also ADHD is a huge one for our kiddos, especially within the schools. They're having some struggles. Has anyone ever had any kiddos that they think might have some ADHD symptoms?
I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about myself. So yes, I was 8 years old when I actually, my mother took me to a doctor because I wasn't able to sit in class. And we realized that I have ADHD. And I think ADHD is a blessing, but not going in too much to ADHD. What I think behavioral health is and why it's so important, if we're looking back generations to generations, and we're looking back for the last 100 years, everything in the world has changed. The way we communicate with people, the way we go, the way we come. Even driving a car, if you look back 100 years ago, how it used to look like, literally everything changed. And if we really focused on it, there's one thing that haven't changed, and that's a teacher walking into a classroom and having 30 kids in the same classroom and they're giving their lesson. Now, what that means is when the world is changing, you want to change everything around the kid as well. So a lot of kids today have more issues in sitting in class, in behaving, and really understanding the purpose. And that's where behavioral health comes in. Helps them navigate, helps them come through, helps them reach their potential, make sure they go through the path of progress and they reach their goal so they can eventually become adults and being successful people.
Perfect. I totally agree. We at Zrpath, our focus really, as Moshe had mentioned, is that every kiddo reach their max potential. And that's really what we're here for. We're here to provide prevention services that are currently working with what they're struggling with, whether it be emotions, feelings, behaviors that may be impacting their success in different domains. It could be issues at home. It could be issues at school. It could be issues within relationships. And really that's where our service delivery comes in. So I'm going to have Erin describe one of our services, which is Life Skills. She has a team of direct support specialists that she works with, and they provide a service that has shown great outcomes. So I'm going to give it to her for a little bit of description of those services.
Yeah, so in our Life Skills program, we provide individual services as well as family support. So we can do anything from learning how to do chores, learning how to cook, all the way up to transitional living tasks like learning how to build a resume, learning how to use transportation services. And then we also focus on family involvement, which is really important for the success of the child, where we can do family activities, helping them bond with each other, helping them learn how to operate more healthily as a family. So those are just some of the things that we do.
Perfect. And what is the age range for that service?
Anywhere from 5 to 18, and then we also have some adults.
Perfect. And what areas do you currently serve?
In Phoenix and Tucson, and we're looking to expand to Yuma as well.
Perfect. So just to add a little bit to that, right now in Yuma is an area that we're definitely looking to expand in. And so some of our current families may receive phone calls from our new director of respite within Yuma. So we're encouraging you to think about what services might benefit your family. I know Yuma is a growing region, and I know that they've been very short of services. And so we're really hoping to expand that region and offer more support to the families through life skills, through counseling, and then also our current respite program. Cindy, you've worked respite before, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's where I started. I started as a staff. Basically, what we do for respite, if you do not know what respite is, basically it's a program that we have here at Zrpath that provides a break for families and children in order for them to have a lower crisis at home, in order for them to learn more skills with us. Here at Zrpath, we have two different respite programs. We have day group, which may be the client, which is going to be the child, will come for a while to our facilities. We take them out on outing and work with them on life skill services as well, such as promoting community integration, making sure that they regulate their emotions and such. So that could be day group respite, but we also provide weekend respite for families. Weekend respite provides a longer break, and that will be from Friday through Sunday. So yes, they spend the night over. And during the whole time, we work with them on character qualities of every month, country of the month, different techniques, things that it can help them through their life skill situations. We do a lot of personal hygiene. And not only being able to work with them, but we also provide them a home, a place where they can spend every night knowing that they're safe, that they're comfortable, where we provide them meals, where we help them with their emotions as well. So a lot of integration with other kids and such. Of course, don't worry, it's not all the same ages, not the same gender. We do have different houses. We have 6 houses in the Phoenix region. We have 1 house in Yuma and 2 houses in Tucson. So those houses are divided by age and gender of the child. So depending on what the client gender and age is, that's where they will be divided. And of course, outings, community outings, they are ranged depending on of that specific group as well. So respite day group, respite weekend, and we have a new program that it's the weekday birth to 5 program, and that is served for children 1 to 5 years old. Basically, what we do with that program is more of a preschool setting where we teach them, yes, of course, ABCs, 1, 2, 3, but we teach them to regulate their emotions. We go from table manners to potty training to expressing themselves when they need something. We take them a little outing to the parks, making sure they're safe, that they know what they're doing, but we work one-on-one with them as well. So it's not only a group setting with the weekday program, but it's one-on-one where we talk to them and we guide them to the correct path, of course, and achieve those goals that each child might have differently, depending on their service plans as well. So that's what we have so far, but I have a good news. Do you guys want to hear the good news?
Let's go.
We are trying our very best, and a lot of people are working so hard on making sure those houses that we have are utilized not only on the weekends, but during the week as well. So we're trying to open them 24/7 respite care for all these children and these families that need that break. So what we're doing is after school, they're coming with us. We're helping them with homework. We talk about their days. We do a lot of group meetings. How's everyone doing? Personal hygiene. Provide them that support that they need, making sure that they sleep safe, comfortably, and that they're ready for school the next day.
Wow, that's really amazing. And one of the things when I came into Zrpath, I started working right away is I didn't want that respite care should be now obviously to talk more about respite, it's a preventable care. I mean, say we're trying to prevent certain things at home. A lot of houses are stressed and parents are going through a lot. So in that type of services, we have to watch out because people look at respite. Okay, I have to get rid of my child for a night. Let me just send them to respite. And one of the first things I started working was I don't want respite to be a babysitting service. I want respite to be much more than that. And I could say with this team that we currently have, we really put in a lot of effort to make respite d- d- everything that it is right now. That kids come, they learn, and now that we're opening during the week, it's going to help a lot of kids with homework. It's going to help a lot of kids really understand that there's normal hygiene, there's being normal bedtime. A lot of these houses they don't even have a bedtime schedule. Kids are just whenever they fall asleep, they fall asleep, and it's sad. So it's important to utilize respite, and if you're approved to respite and you feel that you're in the areas that we do it, which is Phoenix, Tucson, or Yuma, or anywhere across the state of Arizona, you could always reach out to our intake department and conduct an intake.
Perfect. So just to add a little bit to that, I know a lot of people have not heard of respite. And so I want to make it clear like who's eligible, how do you get it, how many hours can I get? Because a lot of times when parents hear this service, they can't believe that they're eligible for it. So we take any kiddo on access services. So we have contracts with all of the access health plans. Like Moshi had mentioned, it's a preventable service. So what that means is the goal is that we're preventing kiddos from disrupting their homes, from having to be removed by DCS because of the stress level or because parents have just reached a point where they have resorted to abuse, neglect. It also helps provide that break for some of these kiddos are very intense behaviors, as Cindy knows, working directly with them. Parents sometimes just need that break for self-care. We all, as parents, need a break for self-care. A lot of us have family members, friends, neighbors, or coworkers that can help us with watching our kiddos when we need that self-care break, but a lot of families don't. And so that's where Zrpath can come in and help with that prevention and that self-care and the time maybe to spend with some of their kiddos that have more intense behaviors. So they come with us and their kiddos can get some time with mom and dad that is just for them one-on-one. Every child is eligible for 600 hours, which is about 1 week in a month. So yes, like Moshe had mentioned, intake is huge. So if you guys are interested, you can definitely contact us.
And we also have to mention that at Zrpath we started a new service, and that was actually my first experience where I experienced emotion in the company. We recently went on a trip, so taking these kids out of a trip is very important. So we took them to Flagstaff, and seeing kids ages 7 to 15 that have never seen snow before and seeing their emotions, it literally made me cry just to watch that. And that gave me a very interesting feeling about how important respite is. And I'll leave it up to Cindy as the director of development, and she works on these programs to explain more how these trips work.
And I love how you express that because that's exactly what we want every staff, every person that works with us works with that mindset, with the heart on their hands, making sure that they understand where the kids are coming from and giving them something back. Well, now we loved our Flagstaff field trip, so now we are incorporating monthly field trips for all children that we serve. Not necessarily just a specific group or age one up, but we're allowing all of our clients to participate on those. So every month it's going to be different, not necessarily the regular community outings that we do during day group or weekend respite, but we do a special big outing to a special place. Why am I saying a special place? Well, there's a lot of kids that will not be able to get to know the snow for the first time, how you're explaining it, go to a museum, go to these amazing places that a lot of kids do have the availability to, but they don't. What we are trying to offer them at this moment is to make sure that they have that possibility, that we can help them, making sure that they get to know these amazing places, that they have more community integration within themselves. But later on in life, when they grow up, they want to do these things for other kids. They have places that they can take their families with them as well. So every outing that we do, yes, we are going to be taking a large group of kids, and we're going to take them to those special places, those special outings where they're going to be able to learn and move around their own cities. Most of the times they haven't even been there. And what we do there, we take them on those outings, we provide them a meal, of course, a very healthy meal and a bunch of yummy snacks. And from there, we make sure that everyone has fun. Yes, the goal that we do, everything that we do for Zrpath is to make sure that these kids remain safe. Yes. However, they also have to have fun. But in order to have fun, we have to be safe first. So, of course, there's rules, regulations, things that we have to follow, but these kids understand them. We provide them those expectations. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that these kids have fun. And they tell you, and you see it. You
On
saw
their
it.
faces. It was, I can't even explain how I felt going with you on the first trip. For me, it was the first trip. I mean, you've done it before, but it's amazing. It's amazing. And thank you, Cindy, for doing that.
It's also a great way to give them an opportunity that they've never experienced before. We also get to experience it with them. Sometimes you take for granted the options and the opportunities that you have, and to see a child see something like snow for the first time or have an experience for the first time, it's life-changing for them, and it's so special to be able to see that. Let's go into another service that we provide. Moshi, although he's only been here for 6 months, has done great things and big progress within the company. He was able to obtain a contract with the school districts, and so I'm going to have Moshi talk a little bit about that amazing thing that he was able to accomplish that no other agency really has ever been able to accomplish before, getting into the public school system.
So looking at the little Moishi when I was growing up and thinking about myself, I know I'm a little bit selfish with saying this, but I was a challenging kid. Being a father today, looking back at my childhood, my family was, I'm one out of 14. We had a big family. And my biggest issue was in school. At home, I had a very warm house. My parents were great. My siblings, I always had with who to play. I was never lonely. But when it came to school and especially having issues, it wasn't easy. So one of the first things I was focusing is how can we make school better? What can we do better in the schools, within a school setting, so kids should become comfortable in their schools? They should enjoy going to schools instead of kids crying and not liking going to school. And ever since we started, I remember the first week that we started, I got a phone call from a principal saying that there's a kid, a 7-year-old, that does not want to go to school for interesting reasons. And the kid ended up coming down to the office, and we learned that they lost a sibling, and we had to explain to the child what was going on. And thank God today the kid is with one of our school specialists in the school. And not only that, getting regards from the mother that the child is looking forward every day. I want to go back to school. I want to meet with my success specialists. I want to play with them. And that type of feeling makes me really good. And it's the same way to go into respite. You call and you get an intake. Once the intake is done, the principal of the school will usually provide us with a list of kids. These are the mothers, these are the kids. The principal usually reaches out beforehand. And listen, if you run a school district and you feel that our services will be good for you, you can always contact me in person, and I'll make sure that we set up your school district with all these good services.
Absolutely. And you're coming from the child aspect of going to school. I come from a family of teachers. So I'm sure we've met with a lot of teachers, and they're beyond excited to be able to actually focus on teaching rather than behavioral intervention and having to spend a lot of time one-on-one with kiddos that are struggling for personal reasons, for issues with academics. We can come in and help that teacher out and let them focus on what they're really there to do, which is teach a group of kids. So we're really excited to be able to offer that opportunity as well. So that's a little bit about our school services, but another service that we also provide is individual counseling. So our counseling department is slowly growing, and we're really excited to have a couple new counselors starting soon as well. Counseling, a lot of people are very familiar with it. It's a lot of one-on-one time spent with the kiddo, either virtually or in person, working on their individual goals. So we've kind of talked a little bit about all of our different services, and so if anyone is interested, they are needing to come to us for an intake. So I'm going to give it over to Erin to talk about the intake process a little bit and how you can link up with Zrpath.
Yeah, so if you are not already a part of Zrpath services, there's a couple ways that you can get involved. You can contact the office, which will provide a number in the show notes for that. You can also utilize a link that we'll provide as well to schedule an intake, and then you'll be contacted by one of our intake specialists who will ask you a bunch of questions, get some information on your child and your family to decide what services will best support you. Once intake is completed, it will come to me. I review every single intake, and we decide what the best services will be for each kid.
Yes. And so, with that, it sounds really scary having someone that you don't know asking you a bunch of questions. We just really need to find out about your family, about history, about really what your kiddo is struggling with so that we can find the correct services for them, even linking them up with the right worker and team member for them. If you're needing Spanish speaking, we have bilingual team members. If you're needing a special request, we'll do our best to meet that. So we really ask that you're as open and honest with us as possible, knowing that your information is confidential. No one will have access to your assessment other than you and you, if you want a copy of it, your worker, and then obviously anyone that's working directly with your family. But we just ask that everyone is as open, honest as possible, because a lot of times we'll get information in an intake and it's really not what's going on. It really does not serve you or your family to not be honest. We really want to find how we can help in the best way manner.
And it's important to be honest, because the way I look at intake is kind of as a GPS, giving directions to the people that are going to provide the care on what they need to work on. Now, there's no GPS in the world that can give you directions to anywhere without putting in your location. So knowing where you are, having that self-awareness, understanding where your child is at, understanding what the issues are, understanding what we need to work on, that's super, super important. So when you do that intake, make sure you give it all you got. Don't worry about anything on the side. I know people are shy. They don't want to say they feel they take blame. It's nobody's fault. That's the child we have. We have to be proud with our children. And hopefully, with doing the right service plan, we'll get there and we'll make sure that your child is on the path of progress.
Absolutely. And all of us have our own path and we're all working towards things. We all have individual goals. So we want to thank you for joining us today on the first episode of The Path to Progress. And we hope you will join us in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you.